Welcome to the Voice of Women podcast with the purpose to empower women and disrupt the gender gap. I am your host, Priya Kandula. Hi, welcome to episode 6 of our podcast, The Voice of Women. I recently read a book called The Feminist Fight Club, and I wanted to share on the insights we learned from this book. This book was written by Jessica Bennett, who's a feature writer. And it came out in September 2016. And after it came out, there was a lot of controversy around this book. It was also very hilarious. And it talks about how we can navigate in the sexism that happens in workplaces today. She points out that the sexism is very subtle and it's very important that we women learn how to navigate through it. The Feminist Fight Club was started in her apartment when few of her friends would meet together to share their frustrations at work. Don't get me wrong, this was not just a venting session. They came up with practical tactics in a way that they could overcome the sexism which happened in the place. She also came up with a plethora of vocabulary for each kind of sexism that happened in the place. I would like to share some quotes which I thought were pretty powerful in this book. Feminist Fight Club, your crew, your girl gang, your unconditional, helpful, professional support system, your ride or die homies. Long ingrained attitudes don't just evaporate in a generation. I think this quote is so apt in today's world because we need to understand that the patriarchy and the sexism existed even back in the day. It is not something which is just happening today. So we need to understand that patience is key when we are trying to fight this out for ourselves. Remember, white men constitute just 31% of the American population. There is no situation in which they should be constituting the majority of the room. Who couldn't agree more? Recognizing sexism is harder than it once was. Like the microaggressions that people of color endure daily, racism masked as a subtle insults or dismissals, today's sexism is insidious, casual, politically correct, even friendly. So it's very, very important that we learn how to navigate through the subtle ways in which it happens. Writing down your successes is another method, so you can look back on them every time you feel a hint of self-doubt coming. Why does this self-doubt even creep in workplaces today, especially for women? It is because women are oftentimes not recognized or acknowledged for their efforts and hard work. So just keeping a list of your achievements and reading them time to time can give you a boost of confidence. There was no conclusive evidence to support that women are actually more emotional at work. But there is research to support that female emotion is perceived differently than men's. I really want to point this out that there were times when women were passed on to give promotions because they felt that the emotions that women feel can cloud their judgments and they might not make sound judgments. It's very, very important to know that there is no research backed by this assumption that most people make. Yes, women and men have different hormones, so we are going to feel emotions differently, but there is no right or wrong way. They're just different. This last quote is my favorite. It's by Shirley Chisholm, the first African American woman elected to the US Congress. The law cannot do it for us. We must do it for ourselves. Women in this country must become revolutionaries. This is again a reminder that we have to fight our own fight. We have to voice out our opinions. Women's voices have to be heard, and we have to learn to navigate in a male dominated environment where the sexism is so subtle that sometimes self doubt can creep in. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I would love to hear some comments and feedback. And if you've read the book, The Feminist Fight Club, please let me know on how you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. I am truly grateful to you for taking the time to listen, learn, and share today. Please do share it with your friends and family if you got any value from it. Stay tuned for more stories, insights, and tools to empower each other. Let's break the glass ceiling together.